No. No.
You are Locked On Big 12, your daily podcast on the Big 12 Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Kalani Sitake listed at number 1 in the odds to be the next head coach of Penn State. Happy Sunday night, everybody. At least I hope it's a happy Sunday night. Thanks for making Locked On Big 12 your first listen every single day. This is Locked On Big 12, America's number 1 Big 12 podcast, and I'm Drake Toll, the guy who hosts it. And now, report comes out, Kalani Sitake, number 1 in that race. This is different from the conversation we had a few weeks ago where the Arkansas plane landed in Provo to fuel up or gas up. I was hoping that Jay Hill was the topic of conversation. I think Jay Hill deserves to be a head coach in college football. This is squarely about Kalani Sitake, and it comes from Kalshi. Here's why that matters. I sat at a desk a couple of months ago with Coach Gary Patterson, TCU legend, college football Hall of Famer. He will certainly be in the HOF. And I said, Coach, I just got an update on my phone that with the Oklahoma State job open, you're in the running per Las Vegas. The odds say that you're top 10 for this seat. And Gary says to me, he says, I haven't talked to Oklahoma State. They haven't talked to me. They haven't called my camp. I don't even know what that means. But Las Vegas thought that Gary Patterson had enough substantiated evidence to be included in the betting conversation for him to be the head coach at Oklahoma State. Unsubstantiated, though. Here's where this is different. I'm going to tell you, this is what you bring to the water cooler tomorrow. I'm going to tell you, one, why this is something you should consider, and why this is something that I do think deserves a podcast segment, an emergency episode, as opposed to just Vegas spitballing. And then number 2, I'm going to tell you why Kalani Sitake will not, cannot, shall not, won't leave BYU. If you hit subscribe, I get to keep my job. Number 1, the reason this is different is because of the word Kalshi. That's who's put these odds out there. This is from College Football Report on Twitter. It says odds to be the next Penn State head coach per Kalshi. Kalani Sitake, 26%. Josh Heupel, 18%. Brian Daboll, 17%. Bob Chesney, Terry Smith, Kalen, DeBoer, Lincoln Riley. That list goes on. What you're saying to yourself, what is Kalshi and why are these percentages and not odds? Why is it not plus 400? Why is it not plus 5? Why is it a percentage? So I have done ad work. Kalshi actually sponsored me, and I got to learn their interface pretty intricately. And this is the future of how sports betting will go. This is, in essence, you can buy shares the more you know about something. So for me, an insider with Gary Patterson, I say, Coach, you're not going to Oklahoma State. No. So I'm not going to put any money on that. But if somebody in Kalani Sitake's camp or Penn State's camp catches wind that, I think Penn State's calling Kalani, I think he could be the next head coach, what they will do is, in essence, go to the market and put money on that name to be the coach. Kalshi, per Google, I'll read it out to you, is a federally regulated prediction market where users can trade event contracts based on the likelihood of future events occurring. So the more trades that gets, the higher those odds go up, the higher that percentage is, the more people on the public market, as if it was a stock, who have bought into, due to some inside information, something that they know, have bought into these contracts. They have purchased shares of Kalani Sitake going to Penn State. So him being number 1 is not a Vegas throwing something against the wall. No, it is people who are likely knowledgeable somewhere across this country buying into what Kalshi is. It says it functions as a financial exchange, allowing people to buy and sell contracts for outcomes like economic indicators, election results, weather patterns, sports outcomes, and more. Its operation can be similar to sports betting. The platform is regulated as a, listen to this, financial exchange by the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, rather than a gambling service. So that's how you know this isn't just BetMGM, throw it against the wall, baby Kalani goes to Penn State. This is something more legitimate than that. Somebody knows something. There's been a conversation, a phone call, a something where shares are being purchased of the idea that Kalani will be the next head coach for the Nittany Lions. But here's the secret. He won't be. He won't be. There is no chance, I can tell you right now, no chance, the man whose hand I shook a month ago, The man who I gave a big old fat bear hug to a month ago. A guy who I had never met in person. He approached me out of the blue and says, Drake, I appreciate your show. For the amount of times that I said to fire Aaron Roderick, you get kind of red in the face right there when the head coach says, I appreciate your show. And you're like, oh, shoot, he had to listen to that? I'm sorry, my bad, big guy. But that is the intentionality he brings to college football. It's the intentionality he brings to relationships, to people, to paying attention, to having the wherewithal, to educating fan bases across the country as a leader. Do you understand the head coach at BYU is one of the foremost leaders of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in the world? Of one of the fastest growing faiths in the world, that guy gets to be at the forefront of it in so many different ways. Kalani Sitake has that responsibility, and it comes with a very different weight. I do not think he is going to forfeit that in the name of getting more money, going to a new opportunity. Now, there is the offhand, whereas team's 11-1. And they're not in the college football playoff. If I was a head coach, I would legitimately consider going somewhere else. If you're not going to respect my conference, if there's nothing I can do except go unblemished to get into the college football playoff, then I'm going to go 11-1 at Penn State and be the number 3 team in the country. Like, dog, I kind of get that. I kind of understand where he would be coming from if that's the mentality. But from everything I've heard, from the interaction that I've had, from the sources that I've talked to from Provo, from Utah, the Utah Valley, all of Salt Lake or Utah County, there's just no real want from his family and from his camp to give up on BYU, to leave BYU. His wife's happy. His kids are happy. That's where he wants to raise a family. It's where he wants to. He can be the next Lavelle Edwards. He's already building that at BYU. He can win at the highest level. He's going to the Big 12 championship. Why tear it all down now? Why leave now? Now, if let's say the 2% chance that he does leave happens, Jay Hill, thank you very much, your new head coach, and BYU wins a national championship. Like, I don't think you'd skip a beat with that guy as your head coach. It'd be different, no doubt, but I think you have plans in place in case this is what ends up happening. But I just don't see it. I don't. So monitor the situation. But threat level is not quite at midnight yet. Monitor the situation, though. Today's show is brought to you by Omaha Steaks. Omaha Steaks are a great Christmas gift. You should be sending Omaha Steaks to Kalani Sitake's front door right now. Holidays always feel a little bit easier when you're buying the perfect gift for Kalani Sitake, and they are Omaha Steaks. Their cyber sale is here. I give these gifts pretty much every year now. Steaks, burgers, comfort meals, sides, desserts, all of that and more. Save big on unforgettable gifts with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide, an extra 20% off select favorites during the cyber sale, and for additional $35 off, use promo code COLLEGE at checkout. omahasteaks.com, promo code COLLEGE. Terms apply. See site for details. Send Kalani Sitake a big steak on my behalf. Omaha Steaks. The stakes are high. When you win a lot of football games, you don't get a lot of respect. If he leaves, it is because the College Football Playoff Committee ran him out of BYU. And BYU fans should be livid. Absolutely livid. You know, I don't think it's going to happen, but there's that weird, like, back of your mind, pit in your stomach where you think, oof, what if it does? I don't even want to think about that. This has been It Always Will Be. Hopefully the team can focus this week. Surely they'll be able to. Kalani won't do this. Locked On. Thanks for making it your first listen every single day. Dose Grande.